Hello and welcome to Demo Gaming. Our mission will be to try to help you on your climb through the ranked ladder. Today we'll be talking about BOOM! Or you can just call him Nasus, the creator of the sands, otherwise known as the low elo killer. Before the season started, I played a lot of Nasus in ranked and he proved to be a bronze, silver, and gold godlike champion. I wanted to test him in higher elo, but the season started before I actually had the chance. So during my time with Nasus, I played 23 total ranked games, winning 19 of them, which means I had about an 83% win rate, as well as my average score throughout all the games was 8 kills, 2 deaths, and 8 assists. I did this in just a few days, so if you're a top lane main, I suggest abusing this as much as possible. Let's talk about the champions that counter Nasus. So Nasus doesn't really have that many counters that I'm well aware of. It's probably because I was playing on my Smurf account and the enemy top laners weren't good. But the only time I had a hard time was when I was going against Teemo and Nunu. I would have probably had a rough time against Heimerdinger and Aloy too, but unfortunately I just didn't get the chance to play against them. But I'm pretty sure if I did, it would be really hard. So make sure to watch out for those champions. For runes, you could say I take somewhat odd choices, but trust me, they work really well in game. So I like to take Inspiration and Resolve. For the Inspiration part, I like going Kleptomancy, Biscuit Delivery, Magical Footwear, and Celestial Body. For Resolve, I like going Conditioning and Second Wind. Now I know what you must be thinking, like why the fuck are you going Inspiration as your main rune? But I promise it's actually really strong on Nasus currently. So if we take a closer look at the runes, you'll see that I chose Klepto, and the reason is that it gives you a bonus gold if you attack an enemy with an auto after using an ability. There's also a chance that you'll gain a consumable, and these consist of mana potions, wards, elixir of skills, and the biscuits from the Mastery Biscuit Delivery. So Klepto helps a lot while you're trying to sustain with Nasus, since your focus in lane will be only farming and only poking maybe to proc Klepto. Now some people call this playing like a bitch, but when it hits the late game, if you farm it correctly, you should be able to one-shot your enemies and make them your bitch. Boom! Magical Footwear is also a big help because I don't have to focus on actually buying the basic set of boots. So let's talk about building Nasus. So my build is definitely a little bit weird. For my starting items, I like to go Ancient Coin and 3 health pots. Then on my second back, I buy either Nomad's Medallion, Sheen, Kindle Gem, or Glacial Shroud. I would actually normally avoid Glacial Shroud unless I'm planning to build Frozen Heart, going against someone who has a lot of attack speed like Jax or Yasuo. It even helps if the enemy jungler goes Blood Razor or you're getting against like a Kog'Maw or something. For my core items, I like getting Talisman of Ascension with Trinity Force. An example build would be Talisman of Ascension, Trinity Force, Mercury Treads, Spirit Visage, Sterex Gauge, and Thornmail. If the enemy has high AD, you can build the Thornmail before the Spirit Visage. Then I also have a split pushing build where I go Talisman of Ascension, Trinity Force, Mercury Treads, ZZ Rot Portal, Banner of Command, and Sterex Gauge. At first, taking Talisman might seem really weird, but the stats on it are pretty good. It gives you 45 armor, 175% base HP regen, 10% cooldown reduction, and 2 gold per 10 seconds. It also gives you passive and actives that make you really fast, like Point Runner, which gives you 20% movement speed near turrets or fallen turrets. Then you have an active that grants 40% movement speed for 3 seconds. If allies are close, they'll also get this effect. Other than the Talisman, everything I build is pretty standard. Some additional good items on Nasus are Deadman's, Righteous Glory, Iceborne Gauntlet, and Adaptive Helm. Now, if you're lazy like me and you don't want to remember actually how to build Nasus, all you have to do is go to the description, copy my build link, and then paste it in your item sets in your collection page. That way, when you get in-game, the builds will already be waiting for you. Alright, so let's talk about Nasus laning phase. Laning phase is really important. If you get shut down early, I mean, obviously it's pretty much game over for a Nasus. So I suggest letting them push the wave into your tower so you don't get ganked by the enemy jungler. This also puts the enemy top laner at a disadvantage because he is more likely to get ganked by your jungler. If it looks like your jungler is going to gank when you're level 2, make sure to level up W instead of E for that CC. You should use your E as less as possible because you don't want to accidentally push the wave into the enemy's favor. The only time you should push is when you know that either when the top laner dies or backs without TP, or when you know the enemy jungler is on the other side of the map. A tip is pinging if the enemy top actually leashed the jungler, which can give you and your team vital information on the position of the enemy jungler. In most of my games, all I did was queue minions when I could and farmed, and then after about 300 plus stacks, and I would then start to roam, which would be around 20 minutes in the game. At this point, you're really strong and you can easily carry the game from there. Just make sure you're actively farming or you'll fall off. If the enemy out-traded me, I simply just did not trade at all, and I just farmed. Since Nasus' passive gives you 15% lifesteal and Klepto, I could easily sustain in lane even if the enemy was poking me. If you manage to make it through laning phase, you should be able to carry the game from there. I would also suggest to not level up your E second, instead level up your W second so you can like perma slow your enemies. And if you have talisman, you could just probably run circles around them if you wanted to. If you find that the enemy keeps freezing the wave near his turret and the enemy jungler has a chance to gank you, you can sometimes let the top laner purposely poke you. That way your minions are attacking him instead of his minions, which makes the wave push towards you. And only do this when you know 100% that there's no way you can die. Split push Nasus is really tricky. I'm not a top lane expert. I mean, the whole season I started playing top was just so I can learn the jungle better. And on my main account, I have 83% of my total games in the jungle. So I would test this out for yourself. But I would say you should start looking to split push if you're really fed. And you can at least 2v1. Now, if you laned properly and you had around 300 stacks at 20 minutes, you're good to go. Make sure you're warding as you push. If you have Merc Treads, Talisman, and you max out W second, it'll actually be really hard for the enemy to even catch you, which makes Nasus a really good split pusher. Currently, his damage to turrets is also really insane, not to mention that if you're pushing all game, you can just stack like crazy. Some good habits you should start practicing is actually buying as many pink wards as you can. That's pretty much all of the basics of playing Nasus top. If you practice, you should be able to easily get to gold with this playstyle. Good luck on the Rift. Hopefully you destroy those ranked games. Next video is probably going to be a Hecarim guide, so make sure to check that out. If you have any suggestions for videos, please make sure to leave a comment. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share so I can pay for that Brazzers subscription. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.